Good day, good morrow, how now, and how dost thou? In other words, wagwan and welcome to the School of Shakespeare, where we make Shakespeare entertaining, educational, and empowering. And I want to welcome you to the very first episode of Shakespeare Decoded. Now, I'm going to be real with you from the get-go. I don't even know exactly what this thing is, but I know I've got a vision to creatively explore and experiment with some of Shakespeare's most iconic moments, monologues, scenes, and plays, decode some of his most complex texts, and simplify things to make them entertaining, educational, and empowering. So, come with me on this journey over the coming weeks, months, and years, and let's decode Shakespeare. We're going to start off with a monologue this week. And today's monologue, well, it might just be one of the most famous moments of romantic literature ever written. It's Romeo and Juliet, Ac2 Sc2, the balcony scene. So let's do a little contextual snapshot so we know who's who and what's what. Well, who's talking? Well, that's Romeo. And what's just happened? Well, Romeo has just scaled the Capulet Garden walls where he's hoping to catch sight of Juliet, the girl that he's just met and has fallen madly in love with. What's driving the character? Well, a sense of intuition, a sense of instinct, and also this excitement and elation, and ultimately, true love. So let's have a look at this week's Decoded monologue. But soft. What light through yonder window breaks? It is the east, and Juliet is the sun. Arise, fair sun, and kill the envious moon, who is already sick and pale with grief that thou, her maid, art far more fair than she. Be not her maid, since she is envious. Her vestal livery is but sick and green, and none but fools do wear it. Cast it off. It is my lady. Ooh, it is my love. Oh, that she knew she were. She speaks, yet she says nothing. What of that? Her eye discourses. I will answer it. Nah, I'm too bold. 'Tis not to me she speaks. To the fairest stars in all the heavens, having some business to entreat her eyes to twinkle in their spheres till they return. What if her eyes were there? They in her head, with the brightness of her cheek, would shame those stars, as daylight doth a lamp. Her eyes in heaven would through the airy region stream so bright that birds would sing and think it were not night. See how she leans her cheek upon her hand? Oh, that I were a glove upon that hand, that I might touch that cheek. Now let's take a quick look at why this monologue still matters. Like many of Shakespeare's characters, Romeo is incredibly relatable. That energy, the thought process, the love that he has for Juliet, I think that's a universal thing that if not everybody wants to experience, everybody has the right to experience. For this particular version of Romeo, I decided to use my own Yorkshire accent, which I've had people describe as warm, melodic, and earthy. And that might just be a good way to describe this version of Romeo. You could also describe him as love-struck, besotted, or infatuated even. You could also describe him as naive. You know what I mean? Homeboy did just sneak into his sworn enemy's party with his two best mates, and now he's just snuck back onto their property by himself, trying to catch sight of some girl that he's only just met. Other words that you could use to describe Romeo are unequivocal, irrefutable, determined, or downright stupid. I mean, naive. We'll just leave it at that. What can we learn from this version of Romeo? To follow our hearts, that intuition, that gut instinct that we all have. Well, back in 2024, the British Psychology Society put out an article that alluded to the fact that there's some benefits on our well-being when it comes to making decisions based on our instincts. It can lead to higher levels of satisfaction and greater mood boosts. Doesn't mean that those decisions are always the best decisions, but it definitely does give us a greater sense of well-being. So the long and short of what I feel Shakespeare is saying here to us is, follow your heart, because love is worth the risk and the sacrifice. Thank you for tuning in to the School of Shakespeare, where we make Shakespeare entertaining, educational, and empowering. Until next time, farewell, my people. I take my leave.